Hi, welcome all of you. So today's topic is about clinical performance and effectiveness. So as we already talked about so many things about clinical terminologies like European medical device regulation terminologies. So among them there is one another terminology which is called the clinical performance and effectiveness. So, as earlier we talked about the clinical evaluation reports, and we had mentioned that we need to report everything, every clinical possible clinical data related to the medical device. We're going to report. We're going to summarize everything in a task, and we're going to make such reports. So, in that report also we talk about the clinical performance and effectiveness. So, that clinical performance effectiveness is going to be under the clinical evaluation report itself, but I'm separately I mentioned over here because you may encounter with this terminology what is the clinical performance and effectiveness. So whenever we're talking about the clinical performance first, so clinical performance, it means that how your current or your intended medical device for which you want to you make a report on clinical evaluations or maybe some different clinical data, or you just want to study whether how your current medical device perform well in against with similar benchmark device and other devices. So you need to evaluate such things. So that evaluations of its functionings of that medical devices for which the manufacturers have the intended uses for that particular medical devices. So we need to evaluate in that uses of those particular medical devices. So suppose let's see understand some medical devices. For example, we just take example of catheters only, or maybe for the simplicity if I can say some oxygen delivering devices who deliver the oxygens. So for the evaluation purpose, we already have so many medical devices which giving the same oxygen delivery to that patients. So for your current medical devices, for the version you manufacture, or maybe any medical device you manufacture, you want to evaluate their clinical performance, then definitely you need to check each and every parameters of oxygen delivery to the patients about the medical devices in comparison with other similar benchmark devices, like maybe what the flow rate maybe, or can be the flow rate, the amount of oxygen delivered, and the how long is there any kind of uncomfort is happening with the patient by wearing such oxygen delivery devices. So I'm just giving some example, arbitrary examples. So like that there are so many parameters, so many things which is related to that medical device functionalities we need to study in compared to the similar benchmark device. Then we come to know whether our medical devices is performing well against the similar benchmark devices available. And if it is performing well, then how? It is not just verbal, it is completely technical. We need to give the data also, the proof of data, like if it is going to perform well, then how? If suppose your medical device is poorly performs against the similar benchmark devices, then in which sectors is poorly performed and how it is poorly performed, and again you need to present the data if it is poorly performed. So if it is poorly performed, so can you improve that anything in that medical devices? If you cannot improve but still you want to market that poorly performed medical devices, then you need to give a proper justifications. I'm just giving you one example. Suppose if any medical devices perform very well but it gives uncomfort to that patient, and just giving the score of uncomfortness out of 10 scale, suppose is 7. So uncomfort level out of 10 scale is 7 to the patient, but its performance is very well, is up to 98% for any medical devices. Now your medical devices is poorly performs again those similar benchmark devices, and suppose it is only 93% or 92%, but still you want to market. And suppose your medical devices is not giving any uncomfortness to that patient, and that even if whatever the uncomfortness is given to that patient, it is only 3 out of 10 scales. So you have the proper justifications. Even your device is poorly performed, but it cannot impart, it's not imparting any uncomfortness much more to the patient in compared to your similar benchmark devices. So you have the proper justifications to make your device to that market. I'm just giving you this example. Like that, there are so many cases and so many things may possible according to the device and according to the stage of device developments. And suppose if your device doesn't have any kind of advantages in compared to similar benchmark devices, then you need to perform any modification in your medical devices to at least make to that benchmark, for the performing benchmark in compared to similar benchmark device, at least to that level. So you need to document that things also. So that is called the clinical evaluations. And again, the effective it's called the clinical performance. Now, so you evaluated clinical performance. Now after evaluating the clinical performance, you can easily justify and conclude what is the effectiveness of your clinic of your medical devices. So in that way, this terminology comes, and this way they evaluate everything, and after evaluations and all, we need to report everything on in our clinical evaluation report. So this is for now about the clinical performance and effectiveness. If you need a further much more information, just DM me. I will make a separate lectures on this. So till then, bye, take care. We will meet with another video. Bye.